So I ended up taking this job, the one that everyone in these comments were saying it is a red flag, and they fired me within 2.5 weeks.
It is honestly so traumatizing, and I don't know how I'll ever get over it.
They didn't have an inkling about coming to work and not having work by 9 a.m. that morning.
So the company I work for sent an email out, I want to say maybe like 3-ish weeks ago, stating that there would be layoffs come March. And I don't know what's worse, knowing that I could potentially be getting laid off or unexpectedly getting a random meeting with HR letting me know that I am getting laid off. It's so hard to successfully function knowing that I could potentially not have a job next month.
He just laid my ass off. At this point, I'm just gonna laugh it off because the horrors are entirely too real. Getting laid off in the worst job market ever. Yeah, that sucks.
Well, second time in a year, almost a year to the day, I got laid off again. Twice in a year. And, what the fuck? What is anyone supposed to do? And they said, because of the economy is crap right now. So, we're gonna lay off a whole bunch of people again.
Getting laid off is always bad already, but it's even worse when the layoff is completely unexpected and you're blindsided by it.
Yesterday, I watched people that I worked with for over 3.5 years walk into the office exactly like they've walked into the office for whatever period of time that they had been with the company and do the same things that they've done every single morning when they walked into the office. Some of them put their breakfast and their lunch into the refrigerator. Some of them warms up their breakfast and eats it. Some of them go straight to their computer, turn it on, and check their emails, yada, 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 yada. Not knowing that that would be the last time that they did that routine for their company. Not knowing that the company was having a layoff. Not knowing that their name was on that layoff email. No matter the morning that they were having, no matter the evening that they had, the last thing on their mind was, when I go to work in the morning, it'll be my last morning going to work at that job. They didn't have an inkling about coming to work and not having work by 9 a.m. that morning.
So that was dramatic, but he makes a really good point. What he's basically saying is you just never know.
Wait, what's happening?
And that's the sad part about it. And again, I'm not one of these people to come online and bash companies and how things are. I accept them for what they are. So for companies, they expect you to give a 2 weeks notice. And I do that as well. I think it's an appropriate thing to do. I think you should all do that because I think that it's leaving on a good term. That being said, if you flip it on the other side as an employee, sometimes you just don't know. You don't get that 2 weeks notice. You walk into the office, you warm your breakfast up, you put your food in the fridge for lunch, you sit down, start checking emails, and little do you know, it's 7:30 now. But by 9 a.m., you're done. It's over.
Damn!
And this part of your life is come to a close before you even knew what's coming to close and without any expectation of it. Maybe you have an idea of it, maybe you have no idea of it. And he made a very good point. He painted a very good picture, albeit a bit sad and eerie, because it is a bit sad and eerie. He almost made it sound like you lost something, like you're gonna go into grieving and bereavement because you lost something. But if you think about it, you kind of did. You lost a big part of your life. We spend 8 hours or more of our life at work. And just to one day walk into the office and like that, it's over, it can be very traumatic and very nerve-wracking.
Can we talk about how traumatizing it is to lose your job while on maternity leave? I had my son nearly 2 years ago. I was supposed to have a 4-month leave, which is incredible in the United States. And on month 3, I was just hanging out with my newborn one day, doing tummy time, and found out that I lost my job. Now, I'm the primary income earner for my family, so that is so scary, obviously at any point, but with a newborn baby, I immediately had to end my maternity leave and hop online to find a new job. I've spoken to tons of people that were like, oh my God, you handled it so well, you got back on the horse. But now that my son is almost 2 and so many people who were pregnant at the same time as me either already have their seconds or are getting pregnant now with their seconds, I am so scared to ever have a baby again. Like, there's no point where I will ever be safe to have a baby. I have noticed that since posting about getting laid off while I'm at leave, many women share that experience. It is honestly so traumatizing, and I don't know how I'll ever get over it and have another baby.
Imagine being laid off while pregnant. And I'm sure some of you watching the video might have experienced this situation. To me, that sounds like one of the worst experiences ever. I can already imagine as a man having a family to take care of and provide for, being laid off and having that fear of how am I going to provide? How am I going to care for my kids and put food in their mouth? Let alone having a newborn baby on the way. That's gotta be the worst. It just has to be a terrible experience. So I really feel for her.
Terrible. It's terrible.
terrible.
Look, again, I'm not complaining about corporations in the United States or companies. We have it great here. If you're not from the United States, I'm not sure how it is for you, but for here in the United States, we have it great. And we're blessed to be able to get consistent work and employment. I have family members from other countries who don't have that same blessing. But I will say this, it is a system that can be a bit nerve-wracking. It's a system to where you could be a star employee. You could be a great employee and everything is smooth, everything is gravy, and without notice and without even having one iota of knowing that it may happen, you're cut. You're cut. You could be pregnant. You could have just bought a brand new home and now you have this big mortgage payment to pay for. You could have taken on some new liability. Maybe you adopted somebody. Who knows what it is? Whatever it might be, some big expense now, and you have no way to pay for it. Which is why, of course, you need to make sure you have an emergency fund and live below your means, all the other stuff we talk about on this channel. That being said, regardless, even if you do have all these things in place, the emergency fund, you live below your means, you avoid credit and debt, still being laid off, especially in a situation like this or something similar, is never going to be something that you get over, like she mentioned. Now she has PTSD permanently from that situation.
So I ended up taking this job, the one that everyone in these comments were saying it is a red flag, and they fired me within 2.5 weeks. I did 2 weeks of onboarding and training, and then I did 3.5 days of the actual job. Mind you, I did every metric that they asked me to do, every single thing. And they let me know on Friday that they didn't think I was a good fit. This is a startup company, so I'm not exaggerating. It was 12 to 14 hour workdays. And that's not just me, like everyone was working that amount of time. And they was really drinking the Kool-Aid, like, cause that's not normal. And let me back up a bit. When I got my contract, I told my sister and my dad that I don't think this contract is made for me. It looked like they quite literally just slapped my name on it. The dates were wrong, but they were right around the time I had got hired and I was supposed to start, but they were wrong. They were early, meaning more than likely someone else was offered this position. I was second choice, and then they offered it to me and just slapped my name on there. Or they fired them as well. Or maybe they quit, hell. Not to mention, the reviews literally said like, oh, CEO just fires people. That it's an ever-moving carrot, like there's no set KPIs. The week that I got fired, I was walking down the hallway, ran into the CEO. She said, hey, Christiana, how are you doing? Literally cuts her neck and eyes me up and down with what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a turtleneck dress, stops right above my knees with some leggings. That's weird. Then on that Wednesday, my boss is calling me and asking me like, I want to know what you think. Are you still excited? Do you think you're a good cultural fit? I'm the only person of color. I seemingly thought I was getting along with everyone else. Now, I should have definitely trusted my gut when I told the people around me like, hey, I do not have a good feeling about this job. But you know what? They were right. I was not a great fit because I'd be damned if I'm working for someone else's dream for 12 to 14 hours a day. And this isn't even the craziest way I've lost a job. I think the craziest one was them telling me that I did not talk enough during meetings. That was literally the reason. After this whole experience, I really do not want to be in sales anymore. As an African-American woman, I hardly see any African-American women in business-to-business sales, and there's probably a reason, and I'm really starting to see it. So anyway, guys, I'm looking for a job again.
Okay, she brought up a lot of things there. The last part about the situation of her being an outlier in her field, listen, we could make an entire series on that, okay? But we're gonna avoid that for now and stick to the premise of this video, which is being unexpectedly laid off. So for her, it seems like she had some signs that were there from even before she took the job. And let's be honest, if you're working for a startup, honestly, at any time you should just go ahead and assume your job could be cut. Anytime the company could go kaput and be gone, right? It's a startup. There has no history of it being established. So not only is your job on the chopping block at all times, like all of us are, but in a startup it's even more so the case. So in her situation, it was unexpected, but not so much unexpected. But still, she has PTSD from being cut after 2.5 weeks. It's still gonna have a traumatic effect on you. If you haven't been in that situation, I actually haven't been in that situation, thankfully, but I've never gone to work for a startup and in a sales position. We're just layering it on. We're laying the struggle on, okay? So we're in a startup, which is already unsecure as it is. Then you're layering in sales on top of it, which is already a more fluid type of position, is not as stable as others. And then you layer in the top, or I'm going down, you layer on top of that the demographic that you might be, like I am or she is, and you're fighting an uphill battle. Nonetheless, it's still unexpected for her and it's still painful, and if you've experienced it, I feel for you. It's just another example of how in this economy especially, you have to mind your P's and Q's, stay on top of things, and listen to your intuition, listen to your gut. If you don't think it's right and your family members also don't think it's right, that's 2 layers of confirmation, and maybe you should just wait on, I mean, I know it's difficult to turn the opportunity right now when it's really hard to get a job, but maybe wait and see, or maybe forego that opportunity and move on to the next. With that being said, guys, I really appreciate it if you made it this far in the video. Feel free to give the video a like and to subscribe if you feel so too inclined. I greatly appreciate it, and it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.